Hi folks, I am with Matthew Brookes, who is an awesome photographer, and we're in Venice. We're in an alley in Venice right now. Across the street is Artists and Fleas. We're in front of this mural. This is very Venice. So I'm going to talk to Matt a little bit and just see what he's up to. I'm trying to get a good angle where the sun is. Oh, there we go. That's better. So anyway, I know. He's the photographer, not me. So, Matt, tell us a little bit about you, like, where you're from and, like, what made you get into photography, and then we'll go from there.
I was born in England, grew up in South Africa, and we moved around a lot in South Africa, so I think I have a lot of, like, influences from childhood, but eventually I did end up being in a surf town called Durban, which is where a lot of the young South African surfers are from. I think I got like an influence of like surf culture in South Africa somewhere. So I think when I came to Venice last year, I had an affinity to this place. I mean, Durban was not as gritty as Venice Beach, but I think Venice even has that special vibe that I found a lot more inspiring than being in just a regular beach town. You know, I find it's a little bit like New York by the beach or something. I don't know, like a gritty New York on the beach, tiny little pocket of New York on the beach. And it's great. It was great to come here.
And so, what got you into photography?
I think I just tried many different things as a kid, and I wasn't really talented at much. My dad was a professional soccer player.
Wow.
So we had a very sporty family. So, you know, I think when you grow up around sport, it's like you can't maybe be the best at what you can do, because that's the only way you can make money out of the profession. And I got into tennis, and I wanted to be a pro tennis player, and that never kind of worked out. And then after that, I was just traveling around the world. I mean, first of all, when I left school, I did a couple of years of modeling, which is like how I kind of discovered what photography was, you know, like from working with different photographers. And then I didn't really enjoy that, but I loved the travel, and I loved that kind of rapport with a photographer, or that kind of thing with a photographer, where you kind of have that banter, and you have that kind of, there's a creative vibe that goes on that you can't really creative banter or something.
Yeah.
And I got kind of really, I was really taken by that. So when I tried to quit modeling, I was like, I tried to find something else I could get into, but I kept coming back to photography somehow.
Well, we are all so happy that you did. Shall we walk and talk?
Sure.
Yeah, let's walk this way. So, Matt, tell us a little bit about your professional life as a photographer, and then I want to hear about your new book that you just published.
I started photography in South Africa, but I was only a professional photographer there for like 6 months, and then somebody in Paris saw my pictures, and they kind of phoned me up in South Africa and said, "Do you want to come to Paris?" And I thought it was a joke, but at the same time I couldn't pass up the opportunity, so I moved to Paris. I moved to Paris like 20 years ago, much to say.
Thank you.
And I moved to Paris, and then slowly but surely I started to work in Paris. And then as my career started to, take shape, after maybe 5 or 6 years, I got a job in New York for a Banana Republic fragrance ad, which was like completely out of the blue. But that's where my career also in New York started. So eventually I was living and working between New York and Paris. So I was doing that for maybe 10, 15 years before.
Nice.
I came to Venice.
That's awesome. So tell me about your book.
When I moved to Venice, I was, of course, like taken up by all the influences and influences of this place. And as you see the surfers and the skaters, and those are the first kind of things you kind of, it's kind of the first thing that you were like taken by, in Venice. So I was just asking friends, do you know any surfers, skaters, anything? I was hanging around the skate parks to try to take some portraits of people. And one of my friends says, I know this one surfer that I think he's great, and he's like a skater, and he's makes surfboards, and he's a snowboarder as well. I think you'll like this kid. And this kid, came round to I was staying just behind Abbot Kinney there, and he came to my place in Abbot Kinney, and we started taking pictures in the garden, but I felt like he felt a little bit out of place, in the garden kind of thing. So I was like, well, maybe we'll go to the beach or something like that. Let's take a ride in your car and stuff. And we went to his car, and he had this mattress in the car, he had surfboards in the car.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, do you travel out of your van? And he's like, no, I live out of my van. And I was like, wow, I knew nothing about van culture or anything like that. And then he started to explain to me the whole idea behind it, and I found it fascinating. So that's where the project started. I took pictures of him in his van, and the pictures were so great. And then I said, do you have any friends that you could introduce me to? And he says, I've got some great friends. You're gonna love them. And he just introduced me to them one by one, and that's where we went.
That's awesome. And the book, I've seen it. It's fabulous. And he's going to have a book signing in Venice for our Venice Art Crawl in June. And where else are your book signings? Oh, they're all over the world.
We had one in Paris. We had one in Paris like 6 weeks ago, which went really well. And we're going to be having one at the Rizzoli bookstore in New York on the 2nd of June. And then right after that, we're going to have a book signing in Montauk.
Okay.
At the Montauk Beach House, Beach Club. And then the Venice Art Crawl, so I'm really looking forward to it.
That's great.
And I'm looking forward to bringing this book back to the crowd that kind of, it's about Venice, and it's about the Venice.
And it's also
culture. So
it's also your sister is you mentioned your sister on the front there.
Yeah, my sister passed away just before I came to Venice, so that's why I came here.
That's so nice. It was what was the verbiage that you used? It was
yeah, she was. I mean, all I can say is like she was the biggest free spirit that I know.
That's so nice.
It was. I think, and she was also really into surfing.
So that's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice kind of homage to her. I think
that's good. I love that. Yeah. Well, we're going to finish up our interview, but I just wanted everybody to get a little piece of Matt. He's amazing, Matthew Brookes, and I'll tag him on this so you can go look at his Instagram page and see some of his fabulous work. Thank you, Matt.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.